Welcome to the Anxiety Slayer series. Our mission is to assist you with creating more peace and tranquility in your life through anxiety release exercises and supportive tools created to slay your anxiety. Today's Anxiety Slayer podcast is brought to you by the Anxiety Slayer Academy. We've been offering a free podcast for almost 9 years to help anyone suffering with anxiety find relief. Now we're helping you go deeper by providing step-by-step support on how you can get the best experience from our favorite tools and techniques for overcoming anxiety. Visit the Anxiety Slayer Academy and get your free Anxiety Slayer starter course at anxietyslayer.teachable.com. Welcome back to Anxiety Slayer. I'm Shan Vanderleek here today with my wonderful friend and co-host Ananga Sivir. We come together weekly from Kent and Leelanau to share Anxiety Slayer sessions with you and answer listener questions from our inbox and Facebook page and group. Together, we share a powerful collection of techniques to reduce anxiety. And this week, we're talking about how to get unstuck and free yourself from anxiety's web. Welcome back, Ananga.
Hey, Shan.
So good to be with you again and to be addressing another listener question about just feeling stuck in anxiety and not really knowing how to free themselves.
Yeah, I think anxiety's web is a great way of describing the experience because we can feel so tangled up, bound up and confused by anxiety. And sometimes it feels like you just get a leg free or a wing free and then another bit of you gets stuck. It's such a confusing experience.
And I like that we're going to begin by talking about facing anxiety with awareness. Because with awareness comes everything else, all of the answers that we really need. And you shared a really good example once upon a time with me about facing anxiety is like facing up to a bully.
Yeah, because anxiety makes us feel so uncomfortable, so fearful. We have a strong aversion to it. We want to get away from it. So we do that by distracting ourselves. But it's not an external cause and effect thing. Anxiety is in us. So we can't really fully escape from the experience. We can escape by diversion for so long, and then we're back to facing up to it again. So we become exhausted. We're just trying to push it away, not think about it, not feel it, and then it comes back around the corner of our mind and gets to us again. So for me, it really is like facing up to a bully, facing up to your anxiety and just turning around instead of trying to flee from it and saying, okay, it's just you and me. What's your message from me? When I was at school, I got bullied for a period of time and I learned a great deal from that. I was in hiding from a group of really scary girls. I went to an all-girls school. And outside of the school, these girls hooked up with this big, muscly guy that I was really scared of. He'd just look at you and you'd kind of freeze. And one day they beat up a friend of mine and blocked off a bridge that we were crossing, front and back of the bridge. There was nowhere to go. And it was quite a scary time for me.
Oh, my goodness.
I went to this really old-fashioned English school. It looked like a cross between St. Trinian's and Hogwarts. It's an old Victorian building with a quadrangle and hedges. And between lessons, it meant you were walking the grounds of this school in between classrooms. And one day I was walking along and I was late because I'd taken a music lesson, so I was on my own. And in the opposite direction came one of the ringleaders from this gang of bullies. And it was just me and her, and our eyes met. And something in me just clicked, and I'd had enough of hiding and worrying and, wondering when these people were going to appear. Before I could even think of it, I marched over to her and just said, okay, if you have a problem with me, let's deal with it right now. And she said, oh, no, I don't have a problem with you. Okay, then this has to stop. And it did.
Good for you.
Really big lesson for me. It took a lot of fear and crossing a threshold of I've just had enough of this. And that opportunity arose. But I always think of that as that eye to eye. When you see the whites of somebody else's eyes and you connect with somebody else's eyes, experiences change. Like in a situation of road rage, if you catch the eye of the other driver, there's a human connection. And very often with anxiety, we need to make that human connection internally. We need to turn around to ourselves and say, okay, this is becoming intolerable. It's really affecting my life. What do we need to do to get support and make this more comfortable? Of course, I'm using words we, it's all happening inside us, but it's turning to ourselves with compassion and awareness. Very often we say, I hate this anxiety and I just want anxiety to go away. And people will go on social media and swear about anxiety, but we need to turn within ourselves with compassion and kindness and awareness to really get free from it.
Right. Because it's not the enemy that we make it out to be. It's actually a messenger trying to show us how we might be able to care for ourselves or trying to get our attention. And so with awareness, we can settle in a bit and figure out with compassion how to best care for ourselves, what it is we need in that moment.
Yeah, as you said, with compassion, with kindness, there is something coming up, something in us is flagging for our awareness, it's waving to us, and to turn to that with kindness. And that immediately reduces a lot of the stress and saves a lot of energy.
One of the things that you'll find really helpful when you feel stuck is to tune in to where anxiety affects your body. Sometimes we're so used to feeling anxious that we don't really notice its effects on us. So check in with your body. A lot of times during yoga classes, the teacher will begin the class in Shavasana, and you'll be resting on your back, and they'll lead you to notice how you feel in your body and to send your breath to the places that might be feeling uncomfortable. You do the same thing with anxiety. And often, as you know, anxiety becomes a tangled sensation somewhere in your body and mind, right? So by getting clear about what that is and where that is, then you can have a better idea of how to support yourself. So often we try and push through anxiety and keep going. And I know I do it, and keep going almost like you're going to outrun it. But really what you're doing is you're more of, walking on a treadmill. You're not really getting anywhere. You're just perhaps prolonging what might happen next. And this lack of awareness of what's really going on will cause you so much more stress. And then eventually you're exhausted. So that there's this whole cycle that happens. And it's just incredibly important to stop, to notice, check in with how you feel, and then assess from there and use any of the resources that we've talked about over the years to help you get back to a place where you're feeling much calmer and better in your body.
Once you've noticed where the anxiety is manifesting in your body, then you've got information that you can use by, as you said, Shan, sending your breath there in a guided breathing practice, or it's fantastic information for an EFT tapping session.
Yeah, without question.
To be able to tap for how it feels, where it is in your body, is the key to really starting to reduce those uncomfortable feelings, but with awareness and with acknowledgement. So you're getting to the root of your suffering.
When we come back from our break, we'll talk more about what helps when you're feeling stuck in anxiety's web. The Anxiety Slayer podcast is sponsored by Health IQ. If you listen to Anxiety Slayer on a regular basis, you know that Ananga and I are very health conscious. We often recommend healthy nutrition, yoga, walking in nature, and an overall fitness plan for your mind, body, and soul. And with our love for health and wellness, we found a US-based life insurance company who rewards their clients with exclusive, special, and lower rates for being mindful and health conscious. Health IQ tells us that they can help you save between 4 and 33% on life insurance because people who are physically active have a much lower risk of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes compared to people who are inactive. Health IQ can save you money on life insurance for choosing to live a healthy, conscious lifestyle. We invite you to visit healthiq.com/anxiety slayer to get your free quote. And please mention Anxiety Slayer. That's healthiq.com/anxiety slayer. Before the break, we were talking about tuning into where anxiety affects your body and some of the things that you can do to help move through it, whether it be breathing practices or EFT tapping. I'd like to continue talking about what helps. And I'll turn that over to you, Ananga.
Something that's really nice to do for yourself is to practice a compassionate breathing practice, something that helps you feel calm and steady and safe, where you can work with your breath to calm anxiety, but also to be able to be with your feelings, to be with your anxiety and question it without feeling the need to flee away from it, as we so often do. And an example that really helps me understand why this is a valuable practice is to think of somebody in quicksand. And the advice is, if you're stuck in quicksand, don't struggle, because you'll just sink more and you'll get more stuck. It's the same with anxiety. We try and escape it using our mind, which is already disturbed and afflicted by anxiety. When we can slow down and work with our breath, we get a pause where our intelligence can kick in. And Ayurveda teaches that our intelligence has a motherly nature, a guiding nature. When the intelligence has the chance to speak to us and for us, it can direct the mind to feel more calm and more safe and to explore choices that will help us overcome anxiety. So I'll just talk you through a really simple practice that you can try. Cross your hands over your chest, over the center of your chest. Put your right hand right in the center of your chest and your left hand crossed over that. Let your head come down slightly so you're facing down towards your hands, looking inward towards your own heart, and just start taking slow, steady breaths. And sending self-compassion, sending understanding to your own heart. Anxiety is scary, messes with our heads, it affects our relationships. It's really difficult to live with anxiety. It's difficult to function. So to send yourself some kindness and understanding, as you would to a good friend who was suffering, who you really felt genuine care and compassion for, just to breathe and feel your chest rising and falling under your hands. With the acceptance that I'm going through a challenging time and I'm going to help myself get through this as best I can. Just taking slow, steady breaths. Feeling the warmth of your hands on your chest to help you feel grounded. Feeling your feet in contact with the surface that supports them. If you're sitting down, leaning back into your chair and feeling held and supported by your chair. Bringing your attention to these 3 contact points. The warmth of your hands on your chest. Your feet on the floor. And the surface that's supporting your body. And you can start practicing the long exhale. Taking a nice steady breath in for the count of 4. Hold it for 2 counts. And exhale for the count of 7 through your mouth. And just repeat like that for a few more breaths. Another thing that can really help is to get familiar with EFT tapping. Tapping is the perfect combination of compassion, noting what you're going through with anxiety, stating your truth as it is. For example, in EFT tapping, you use statements to describe what you're going through and then tap on meridian points to help you feel more calm, to dissolve the negative emotions you're feeling, to make peace with them in your body. So an example of a tapping statement for the symptoms of anxiety might be, even though I have this anxiety in my stomach and it's making me feel sick, and I'm scared I might even be sick, I accept myself. Usually when we feel nauseous we start to really panic about it. It's a horrible feeling, that feeling of nausea rising in the body. We don't want to acknowledge it. We don't want to deal with it. And we're really scared that it might escalate to the point that we might be sick. To name it as it is, and then start tapping through the EFT tapping sequence, instead of hiding and distracting away from anxiety, you're stating it. Just like the practice that's recommended for noting anxious thoughts. I have this feeling. I have this anxiety in my body. You're noticing it. You're stating the truth of the situation. And then as soon as you start tapping through the meridian points in the EFT tapping sequence, you're going to start to feel better. So you're bringing awareness and acceptance to your anxiety, and then you're doing something immediately to help you relieve its intensity. And for that, EFT tapping works brilliantly. If you'd like to know more about using EFT tapping for anxiety relief, we have a course available in our academy over at anxietyslayer.teachable.com, where I'll show you exactly how to get started with using EFT for anxiety relief.
Thanks for listening to Anxiety Slayer. If you're ready to learn how to calm health anxiety, or how to stop fixating on symptoms and sensations in your body, you might want to take a look at our First Responder Series Health Anxiety course. This course is designed to help you calm anxiety and relax your body to support your body's natural healing ability. Save $20 for a limited time at anxietyslayer.com.